For years, Kylian Mbappé was supposed to become the face of football's next generation, a generational talent, the player who would dominate the sport after the era of Messi and Ronaldo. Everything about his rise felt inevitable. At just 18 years old, he shocked Europe with his performances for AS Monaco. Soon after, he became a global superstar at Paris Saint-Germain, and by the age of 19, he had already lifted the World Cup with the France national football team. It looked like the perfect football story, but over time, something started to change. Before the fame, before the contracts, before the headlines, Mbappé was simply a teenager with extraordinary talent. His breakout season at AS Monaco during the 2016-17 campaign was nothing short of incredible. Monaco were a young, fearless team, and Mbappé was their most dangerous weapon. His speed terrified defenders, his confidence made him unpredictable, and his ability to attack space made him almost impossible to contain. During Monaco's incredible Champions League run, Mbappé scored crucial goals against some of Europe's biggest clubs. Suddenly, the football world had discovered its newest wonder kid. Clubs across Europe were ready to fight for his signature, but one club was determined to build its future around him. In 2017, Mbappé joined Paris Saint-Germain in one of the most expensive transfers in football history. At PSG, the expectations were enormous. The club already had global superstars, but Mbappé quickly became the centerpiece of the project. Season after season, his numbers were extraordinary. Goals, assists, match-winning performances. He wasn't just one of the best players in France. He was becoming one of the best players in the world. And with every season, his importance to PSG continued to grow. The team increasingly relied on his speed, his finishing, and his ability to decide games. But when a team begins to depend so heavily on one player, something else often happens. That player's influence begins to grow beyond the pitch. Then came the moment that elevated Mbappé to another level entirely. The 2018 FIFA World Cup. Playing for France, Mbappé became one of the most exciting players in the tournament. His pace was devastating. Defenders simply couldn't keep up. One moment in particular captured the world's attention: his incredible run against Argentina, where he sprinted half the pitch and won a crucial penalty. By the time the tournament ended, France were world champions, and Mbappé had become a global icon. At just 19 years old, he had already achieved what many players spend their entire careers chasing. The future of football suddenly had a new name: Kylian Mbappé. But success also brings something else: expectation and scrutiny. As Mbappé's status grew, the conversation around him started to change. It wasn't just about his performances anymore, it was about his influence. Contract negotiations between Mbappé and PSG became some of the biggest stories in football. Rumors began circulating about the level of power he held inside the club. Reports suggested he had a voice in key decisions. Whether those stories were exaggerated or not, the perception had already begun to shift. Some fans and media outlets began to question whether Mbappé had become too powerful within the team. Instead of simply being the star player, he was now seen as the center of the entire project. And in a team full of superstars, that dynamic can easily create tension. In football, dressing rooms depend on balance. When one player's influence becomes too large, the narrative around them can change very quickly. At this stage of his career, Mbappé was no longer just a young talent. He was expected to become the best player in the world. That level of expectation is enormous. Every performance is analyzed, every decision is criticized, every headline becomes part of the narrative. And for a player like Mbappé, who had risen so quickly, managing that pressure became one of the biggest challenges of his career. Because talent alone is not enough to control the narrative around a superstar. The story surrounding them is shaped by results, leadership, and success at the very highest level. Eventually, the move many fans had been expecting for years finally happened. Mbappé joined Real Madrid, a club where expectations are higher than almost anywhere else in football. At Real Madrid, history matters, trophies matter, and superstars are expected to deliver on the biggest stage. For Mbappé, this move represents something more than just a transfer. It represents an opportunity to reshape the narrative of his career, to move beyond the controversies and remind the football world why he became a superstar in the first place. Because despite everything that has been said or written about him, one thing has never been in doubt: Kylian Mbappe's talent. The real question now is whether the next chapter of his career will be defined by controversy or by greatness. Because if Mbappé succeeds at Real Madrid, the story of his career may look very different from the one many people expect today.